Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders potentially trading for Trey Hendrickson, four-time Pro Bowler and one-time All-Pro. Had such an amazing season this year and was an All-Pro for the first time in his career. Previous 3 seasons, he was a Pro Bowler and was great, but, was amazing this year. 17 games, 17 starts this year, and 6 passes defense, 2 forced fumbles, 17.5 sacks, 46 total tackles, 19 tackles for loss, and 36 QB hits. He was such an amazing part to this Bengals, one of the only good parts of this Bengals defense this year. He was amazing in 2023 as well, 17 games, 17 starts, 3 passes defense, 3 forced fumbles, 17.5 sacks, 43 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 25 QB hits. So had a similar season. Sacks were the same, but his tackles did go up a little bit. And his solo tackles did go up a little bit as well, because he had 33 solo tackles this year, 28 the year before. His tackles for loss went up by 3, and one thing that he did this year that went up quite a bit was his QB hits. He had 36 QB hits last year, had 25 the year before. So an amazing season for him, and the Bengals have given him permission to seek a trade, trying to focus on signing extensions with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Yeah, I don't know the way to feel about this. I think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are great. Great wide receivers, but, and Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that is one scary offense. But with what we saw from the defense last year, you can't really go anywhere with such a terrible defense. And Trey Hendrickson was one of the only, really bright spots for that defense last year. And if you lose him, I can't imagine how bad their defense will be. You might have to have Joe Burrow really score 40 points a game to win. Look, yes, there were a lot of games where, the Bengals had to score a lot of points to win, but there were a couple games that the Bengals did win where they didn't have to get very high in the scoring margin. Like, you look at their wins against their win against the Steelers at the end of the season, it was a low-scoring win, or the game they had against the Giants was a low-scoring win. Panthers, I know those are worst teams in the league, but they did against the Cowboys. They had some low-scoring wins where their defense wasn't terrible, and their offense didn't have to go crazy, but they had a lot of games where they had to score crazy, and I think some of the games that they didn't have to do that is because Trey Hendrickson was making plays. He was making plays every game, really, but I just really believe that it's gonna get worse for them if they trade Trey Hendrickson. Sure, you have Joe Burrow, and he's throwing the ball to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but losing a guy like him when you already have such a weak defense, I don't know how that is smart at all. Let me know your thoughts on the Bengals potentially trading Trey Hendrickson and him potentially ending up with the Washington Commanders. Look, I think the Commanders' defense last year really was improved a little bit. I think they still really struggled with some things last year. Like, Bobby Wagner was so good for the defense, they just re-signed him. That's great. But I think this defense still struggled at times this year. Really got killed at times. They still last season were like top 10 in giving up rushing yards. Going up against running backs, was still something they really struggled with. Maybe adding in Trey Hendrickson can fix that. And also, at times, really struggled against the pass game. If you have Trey Hendrickson coming after the opposing quarterback, that's something that would really fix it with this Washington defense. I think, adding in Hendrickson would make this Washington defense from, average to elite. And I think him and Bobby Wagner is something offenses do not want to see. Let me know your thoughts on the potential trade for the Commanders in the comment section, and peace out.